This is the You, Me, and BTC podcast.
Cryptocurrency decrypted.
Welcome to episode 66. This week, we're discussing a DEA agent gone rogue. His name is Karl Mark Force IV, and he was allegedly able to scam Ross Ulbricht from the Silk Road, a cryptocurrency exchange called CoinMkt, and even his own employer, the US government. We'll chat about how he pulled everything off, how he got caught, and much more. Also in today's show, Tim and John will have an intense back and forth about the morality of a cop accepting a bribe, so stay tuned. Your hosts are Tim Baker, John Stuart, and myself, Daniel Brown. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show today. This is the You, Me, and BTC podcast. Thanks for joining us. It is Tuesday, well, I guess technically it's Wednesday morning. We just rolled past midnight. Another one of our late recording sessions like we've been doing for a while, I guess. I am Daniel Brown, and I'm here with
Tim Baker
and John Stuart.
So, did you have a good time with that Bitcoin Not Bombs, antiwar.com interview last week?
Yeah, I like getting on there and talking to them.
It had been a while, I guess, since we did an interview.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll remind people to get over to Bitcoin Not Bombs. They're doing a Pro Piece meme contest. If you missed last week's show, you can make a meme, submit it. There's all kinds of prizes. There's actually prizes for the top 10 winners right now. There's silver, there's Bitcoin. I think in total it might be something like, I don't know, pushing 2 Bitcoins available. I'm not sure. Several ounces of silver, a couple of Moggy Metals t-shirts, Liberty.me put up some free memberships. So definitely want to check that out if you haven't yet at bitcoinnotbombs.com. Definitely would be worth a shot. I know there's plenty of prizes, and I haven't checked recently, but last time we spoke, there is still room for a lot more entries. So that's our main goal right now, is to just get people to come out and give it a shot. So, and you never know, they could go all over social media and whatnot. So
yeah, and people go and win Daniel's money.
Indeed, yeah, it's true. You could win my money.
Take it from him. It's one less little bit of money he can spend on just gambling it away.
Gambling or cigars.
Or your vape thing now.
Yeah, or vaping.
We make fun of him for smoking cigars and gambling, but if you think about it, that probably makes him the classiest out of the three of us, if that's his vice.
Oh, absolutely. Daniel is incredibly classy. He just needs to embrace it a little bit. He needs to dress a little bit classier, but his interests are... Daniel is quite
Tim,
the
you
gentleman.
don't like my homeless man look?
No, you do, and he's not joking at all. He doesn't care. He doesn't care where he's going. It doesn't matter where he's going. He will dress like this. It's just, you need to be like Jeffrey Tucker and just wear a suit constantly and kind of be annoying a little bit that way, and just constantly be happy and perky.
I gotta have something unique, Tim. That for me, what's a good word for it? Like a unique trademark or something? I don't know. For me, it's an unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt with a white T-shirt underneath.
and flip-flops.
And flip-flops.
So
yep,
basically,
no matter what the temperature is.
Basically, you're trying to look like some Italian mobster or something.
Kind of an Italian mobster, but if he's going to be an Italian mobster, he has to be fatter.
Yeah. And
he has to smoke cigars constantly.
Anyway, I don't remember how we started talking about my homeless look, but get over to Bitcoin Not Bombs, make a meme, have some fun with that, and I guess we'll jump into some things then. A whole bunch of crazy stuff from a DEA agent who, not surprisingly, government employee, was ripping people off. Wow. I can't believe that would happen.
Not in the usual way either.
Oh, that's true. It is a surprising or interesting,
Not just wasting our money,
you know,
but, you know.
yeah, story. Go for it, Tim.
Well, like, apparently, and this is only coming out recently, and it was stuff that they had taught, and I remember tweets back during the trial that they had information that they weren't allowed to use, and I had read a few things about it, and it was this stuff. It was that it seems to be that almost every single one of, for people who followed the trial, every single one of those people that messaged Ross on the Silk Road, or I don't know if it was through the Silk Road's messaging service or if it was through like Tor Mail or something like that, I don't quite remember. But they might all be the same guy who was the DEA agent, kind of the direct contact to him for his task force.
Well, wait. You don't mean like every single person that was messaging Ross. You just mean a couple important people that were talked about.
Yeah, the ones the big ones that came up in the I mean, I guess I technically should point that out. Like the one asking about having someone killed, and then the hitman. Like, I'll read at the end of this article. It's an article from InsideBitcoins.com at the bottom. CG appears to be a reference to Curtis Clark Green, who Ulbricht allegedly tried to have killed after suspecting that Green had been stealing funds from Silk Road. Ironically, the hitman Ulbricht is accused of hiring to kill Green was Knob, Force's other pseudonym. Even more ironically, Force was also allegedly stealing funds from the Silk Road during this time. And he's also this French maid thing, and that's... Ooh, I didn't even know that had happened. Like, all these, like, the big people who talked to him, and apparently he even extorted money from him, and then he put...
I want to point one thing out before we get too much farther. The CG, or Curtis Clark Green, who Ulbricht had allegedly tried to have killed, I think we talked, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 episodes ago, we read some of the original arrest warrant for Ulbricht, and we talked about one of the hits, or that he supposedly, tried to put out. And I think that was different than this, because this guy, it says here that he put out a hit on Green, or allegedly, because he suspected that Green had been stealing funds from the Silk Road. The one that we read a while back had nothing to do with stealing funds. Somebody was going to give out like information of vendors and buyers, or like addresses and names and stuff from the database. So apparently these are 2 different alleged hits that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Just so people know.
Yeah, I'd heard there were multiple ones before, but it seemed like I thought this one was even less credible than the other one, as far as like a body actually turning up.
Yeah, which is entirely possible, yeah.
Yeah. But then he has another alias, Death from Above, who was this Mark Force, the 4th DEA agent, allegedly contacted Dread Pirate Roberts in an attempt to extort $250,000 from him. The opening message from Death from Above went as follows: I know that you have something to do with Curtis Green, disappearance and death. Just wanted to let you know that I'm coming for you, Took. He's going to use Latin. You are a dead man. Don't think you can elude me. De oppresso libre. So, I think like that was something that law enforcement wanted him to do, but
it seems really like he was just trying to be like, a double, triple agent, a troll. I mean, like just trying to create conflict and create.
He wasn't trying to create conflict. He was like, I can make a lot of money, because he's like,
No. Yeah. No, I know that was his goal, was to make money. But in order to do that, like, he's the one who requested the hit or whatever on CG, or he knew about it. And then as a different alias, he said, hey, I know you did something with CG, so I'm going to come for you. So he just created all these artificial situations so that he could weasel his way in there and share information and blackmail people or whatever with probably information that wasn't even legitimate in the first place because he just made it up with a different account.
Yeah. I mean...
Here's the interesting thing. I mean, obviously on the Silk Road, he's kind of being an idiot. I mean, it is tough, though, because that kind of...
He wasn't being an idiot.
What, you don't think a liar is...
Okay.
Is...
Think about this. He's working in a field where he knows it is very easy to move money around in an anonymous way. The only hard part is to get it out. So he starts skimming off the top of it, and he just starts reporting. I mean,
I'm not
like,
saying...
whenever Ross sent money, he gave only... He had it directed into one of his other accounts. He just took all the money for himself. He didn't direct it to anything else. Like, he wasn't being stupid. He was being stupid whenever he started, whenever he was just, then also, and we'll get to it, stealing money from an account in a large and very public, and not you have to get on the darknet to access exchange site, because he was trying to take even more, apparently.
Right. I didn't mean he was dumb as in, like, he wasn't smart and he didn't have any senses. I just meant he was being an idiot because he was lying to people, he was causing problems, he was ultimately stealing from people.
Oh, he was being a DEA agent. That's what they do. There's no legitimate use for them. They don't do anything. All they do is...
Yeah, you don't think that makes... If somebody has that job, and if it's somebody's job to get money from other people illegitimately, you don't think that's an idiot? This is a dumb argument. It's kind of semantics.
Yeah, yeah, we're getting into that again. But I don't think it's an idiot. I think it's someone, like, they went and, like, they're smart. It doesn't mean they have morals. Like, that's one of the better jobs out there. You get to do that, and you get to just beat people, and then you get all the respect for that, and you get a decent amount of money, and then you start just stealing, I don't know, maybe you don't get a lot of money, and you just start stealing Bitcoin on top of that.
Yeah, well, he also was taking money through all these practices. He was also stealing from the government, too. I mean, money that was supposed to go to the government was going to him, and, you know, that's equally... maybe lying and could be stealing easily too, but you know, there's a lot of reasons that we're more okay with that than stealing from.
Well, I don't know. I mean, because he's part of it anyway, but just moving from one leech to another.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, if a government agent steals money from another government agent. That, yeah, you're right. That doesn't really change
part of
much.
It. I mean, I kind of like it just because it shows everybody that they steal too, and the corruption happens a lot. But besides that, not really anything else.
Oh yeah, and then one thing that I have to mention from this article, I guess I'll just read it. Force allegedly pulled off an apparent fraud involving a meeting between the Baltimore task force working on the Silk Road investigation and Mark Karpelès, which that's an interesting thing in itself that Karpelès was involved, but I got to keep going real quick. In his original message to DPR under this new name, which was French made, Force stated, "I have received important information that you need to know ASAP. Please provide your public key for PGP, Carl." That's right. It appears that Carl Mark Force IV accidentally signed a message to DPR with his real name. Which, yeah, that Tim thinks he would do something like that, and I probably agree.
If I was deep undercover in something, I just accidentally let it slip one time. Right, some of them would say my name. I said, what? And they'd be like, why are you answering that name? You a blue boy?
Is that how people catch criminals? They just go up
to
people.
Yeah, they catch criminals because the criminals answer the right. They're like, no, they're like in place and it's all dark, and they're just like,
they just go around and find people, and they're like, "Is this Tim Baker?" And you're like, "What? Oh, we got you."
Yeah,
that's how they do it.
Anyway, so that's didn't I don't know if it was quite this dumb, But some people, I think, claimed that Ross Ulbricht's mistakes were kind of stupid like this too. Like, yeah, I think I remember now. He, like, one of the first times he tried to advertise the Silk Road, he like posted it on a forum and used his own email address or something, and like he like changed it right away, but apparently they still kept records of those changes and stuff. So I guess even, no matter how, I don't know if I want to say great. I mean, Ross Ulbricht did pretty well with making the Silk Road, but I feel like it was just the first one, and that's what really made it great. Probably the other ones, the newer ones, probably better designed, probably more secure, but I have no clue. I don't know how they're all made. So anyway, my point was that even somebody like Ross Ulbricht can make dumb mistakes, like, identity mistakes.
Yeah, and don't for any of the aspiring drug lords who listen to this podcast, don't start a drug marketplace online if you have any kind of a record already online of being associated with Bitcoin or with anything having to do with cryptocurrencies, because they'll find you.
Yeah,
and they will get you, and then you'll end up in prison for hundreds and hundreds of years.
It depends what you mean by you having a record. Because anybody that starts something like that is, their physical person is going to have some record, probably in the Bitcoin space. But what they could do is, create new identities. Like, you got to be insanely careful. And I don't even know if it is possible to do this safely enough. But, you can create new identities and truly or pseudonymous identities. And if you are careful, you probably could avoid ever being connected to them. But I don't know, that sounds hard. And like I said, even Ross didn't quite do it perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, has anyone figured out who Drill is yet on Twitter? I think he's like, still nobody knows who he is. That's pretty impressive.
I know what you mean. I know the account that you mean. I didn't know that he was actually like anonymous.
Oh yeah, nobody knows who he is. Apparently he even used to work for BuzzFeed, and still nobody knows who he is.
What? That's interesting. Because in a case like that, I don't know if it's, that might be a little different, because I feel like if Twitter, like, I'm guessing he probably doesn't use like Tor to connect to Twitter. I mean, maybe he does, but more likely it's
should.
If Twitter wanted to, they could, look up records and see who he was, but Twitter doesn't care.
No,
it's
yeah,
just
I
all
was
the users.
kidding. I'm pretty sure nobody cares that much who Drill is.
We must find out who's saying these. Yes. See, I just bailed on that joke. I was like, that's going down. I'm just like, I'm going to jump and just no.
Oh, gosh.
No.
The other day, I think this is bad, when your internal dialogue includes phrases like, wow, that joke is about to be so bad, I'm not even going to tell it to myself. So, that happened to me the other day. Anyway, yeah.
Just don't even try.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about Wall of Coins, a brand new and very handy service for trading Bitcoin. The platform is designed to enable anyone to get their hands on some Bitcoin. Buyers are quickly connected to an authorized, trusted seller within the Wall of Coins network. Just set a dollar amount for your order, safely pay at a bank near you, and you instantly own more Bitcoin. Buyers don't even have to create an account, so anyone can have access to Bitcoin. Got some extra coin lying around? With Wall of Coins, you can sell it for cash, available immediately in your bank account. Visit wallofcoins.com right now to see just how easy it is. So yeah, we're gonna move on to another article from just a day later about the exact same DEA agent making some pretty similar and equally probably stupid mistakes. Oh, sorry, Tim. They're not stupid. Equally smart mistakes.
Equally smart mistakes, yes.
Hey, you said they weren't stupid, so no, I'm twisting your words. I'll be honest here.
Oh, well, that's new.
There has to be a first time for everything.
Yeah.
There is a company called CoinMkt, which is an exchange for, I guess, different kinds of cryptocurrencies.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and more. Dogecoin. And
yeah,
more.
Dogecoin.
I missed the Doge that was at the Bitcoin, the Beltway.
That was Jason King's dog, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know.
You mean like an actual Doge?
Like the Shiba that
yeah,
was
you're right. I barely remember that now. Okay. Anyway, we've strayed too many times. I'm gonna
Dogs
get
are
the
much
story
more
going.
important than DEA agent scum pigs, Daniel.
This is why we need to stop recording this late.
It's an exchange. Lots of cryptocurrency, and apparently U.S. dollars can go through the exchange too. And apparently, that while this Mark Force was, or what Karl Mark Force was working for the DEA, he also got a job as a compliance officer for this company.
Which doesn't make any real sense to me. As far as we were talking about this before we started the podcast, and this was the whole reason why we eventually started, however long ago, was we were arguing about that. But you can finish if you were going to say something before that.
I don't really know what you were going to say, but yeah, they do say that the company called it a conflict of interest, and the way that, well, I guess I'll read this quote from Squeers. It's SKWERES. I hate names. I'm sorry. He's a CEO and co-founder of CoinMkt, and this is his quote. Just FYI, this is a message from Squeers to Karl Mark Force. Just an FYI, there's a work conflict. I'm not interested in doing anything illegal, so if we have to wait until you're not officially an employee with the DEA or whatever, then let me know. You're the best judge of that. And then the way that Force convinced them to give him the job was because he said he had access to like criminal databases and he could like look up suspected bad actors. So he's like, I work for the DEA, so why don't you just hire me and then I can look up anybody that you want me to for you. So that was one of the complaints. This is how this all came out, is because there's criminal complaints now against this guy. And in the complaint, it's like, wait, you're not allowed to use those databases for anything other than law enforcement.
Yeah, well, it's not just like a general thing. I think it mentions, it is strictly forbidden if not for an official law enforcement purpose. That's what you said. Never mind.
Right.
But one of the other complaints, like the specific complaint, was when, like you were saying, CoinMkt, they took him on as a compliance officer, and then he used his role to be able to steal funds from a California-based user on the exchange.
Right. I think that's more the point of this story, is the fact that he was able to finagle. Didn't it say like 300,000
from this one guy? He stole 128 Bitcoins because he took it federally, and then he just never ran it, or he never did the paperwork, I guess. He allegedly had a DEA intelligence analyst run a criminal history check on the suspicious user.
Right, but the main thing was that he was supposed to seize money from this guy, but he had it sent, instead of having it sent to like the DEA, he had it sent to his own Bitstamp account, so he could just sell it and have it himself instead of officially seizing it by like the government or something. He just took it himself.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, if anything, that's what I was saying, is that it's more honest, because it at least shows what it is. It doesn't really matter if he's taking it. I mean, yeah, there's a certain, it's kind of more orderly when you have an organization doing it, but it's still the same thing. So I'm glad when stuff like this happens, like I was saying.
That's an interesting way to look at it, and I'm not sure if I fully agree, but I definitely like the face value of
like a cop who can take a bribe. Would you not rather have a cop who can take a bribe, who if he catches you doing something, you can pay him like $100, and at least he's being honest, because he's getting paid with stolen money anyway. So if he pulls you over and you're like, here, take $100 instead of giving me a $400 ticket, I would rather have, or maybe you pay him more, but I would rather have a guy who's willing to take a bribe, who's at least going to be honest with it, and that at least then breeds people who look down, not necessarily look down, but you don't have these people who like hold up the cops, like, oh, they're ours. Like, this is more the older generation, but just, this is completely off topic, just cut all of this.
No, that's I don't think that's terrible. It's tough for me to.
I would disagree with that, because cops are really, in the scheme of things, pretty low on the totem pole, and I think cops that do that, it's not as much saying that they're honest, and it's more just saying that they don't have any kind of integrity.
Well, they don't have any integrity. Most people don't. I'm not saying just cops.
No, I think there are a lot of cops that wouldn't take bribes.
No, but that doesn't, what I'm saying is that doesn't make it any better for me. I know there's a lot of cops. In America, it's not a thing because it's considered, because then people look at it as like it's dirty. But I mean, in my view of things, they're dirty anyway, so a bribe helps me more, because generally you pay a bribe because you don't want to get the full force of a ticket, and because they don't get all the money of the ticket, they'll take a little bit of a bribe because they get the whole bribe.
But what I'm saying is then, like, the reason they're doing that is not because they're cops and they're like, oh, well, my career is dishonest anyways. They're just doing that because they're people who would do that no matter what job they're in.
Yeah. Yeah, and that shows that they're just regular people, and it doesn't separate them from regular people.
But it does, because not all regular people...
Most regular people do.
I don't think you can say that.
Most regular people it doesn't seem like have any problem doing stuff like that.
But why would you want people to be like that?
People are going to be like it.
But why would you like it more if they're like that than if they're not like that?
I like people to be honest.
So if someone doesn't do something like that, they're being dishonest?
No,
if someone doesn't take a bribe?
No, but police work and that kind of thing is just is just a professionalized version of that anyway.
But that's not how police officers think of it.
I don't care. So they're delusional.
Well, that has nothing to do with whether they're being honest then. Like, it's about intent. What you're talking about is intent. If someone is being honest, that's purely talking about intent and not about what they're actually doing. Because you would say that taking a bribe is bad.
Yeah, but they're not being...
What I'm saying is, if you're going to judge them by intent, you have to take into account the fact that they don't think what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, that's because they don't think about it enough.
But that doesn't...
They're lying to themselves, just not...
I'm just saying...
They're just lying to themselves at a much earlier stage.
I'm just saying that you can't judge half of what they do by intent and the other half of what they do by pure face value. So, like, you're judging the fact that they're a cop based on face value, but then you're judging the fact that they take a bribe based on intent.
What do you mean I'm judging their as a cop at face value?
Because a lot of people who are cops think that they're doing something good. So you're judging the fact that they're a cop as being bad because it's actually bad. But then when it comes to the bribes, you think it's better that way because their intent is that they're not pretending they're something they're not.
Yeah, I was saying about them being honest.
So if a cop,
I think honesty is
if a
the
cop
wrong
is,
term, or not the best anyway.
if a cop does his job and doesn't take bribes because he thinks it's the right thing, isn't that being honest too?
No, he's not being honest with himself because his job is to steal from people.
But what if he doesn't
doesn't matter what
realize that?
Then it's still his fault. You don't. There is.
And is it not his fault if he takes a bribe?
Yes. It's
So
still
why
his
is it
fault.
better?
I'm saying because it's the lesser of two evils between me having to pay a $400 parking ticket and me having to pay a $100 bribe. That's more what I was meaning.
That's not the lesser of two evils. It's just better for you.
Yes, and it's
That
better
doesn't-
for
that has
everybody.
nothing to do with whether it's evil or
But
not.
Okay, yeah, I was
Just
using a
because you have
figure.
to
I
pay
was
less
using a figure
money.
of speech there.
For the cop, I think, like, for his own conscience, if he thinks he's doing what's right, his intent is better than if he's taking bribes.
But you're not just a good person because you think what you're doing is right.
No, but if you know
How-
intentionally do something that you know is wrong, that makes you worse than someone who does something that they think is right.
Why? Why is someone who unintentionally does something wrong, like not unintentionally, like they accidentally drop something on someone, but they shoot someone who's running away, but is actually trying, or they shoot someone who's they think is trying to hurt someone, but is actually trying to help them.
I'm
They're
not talking
still
about
just-
cops like that. I'm talking about cops that pull people over and don't take bribes.
No, I
to
mean,
not
I was
give you a
talking.
ticket.
I wasn't talking about cops there. I was just meaning in general. Like, I was meaning an unintentional murder versus an intentional murder. It's still the same thing. Someone died. That's why I don't necessarily support a capital punishment for murder, because you can't just say for anything like that someone automatically has to die. I don't. But that's completely something else.
You don't think that somebody who kills somebody because they think it's the right thing to do isn't better off than someone who does it just because they want to?
I mean, they're better off mentally. They're going to sleep better at night. That's why soldiers, only some of them have, not all of them are plagued by nightmares.
No, but what if, say somebody thinks for some reason that somebody is going to, like, kill his wife or something, and this person is not actually going to do that, and they kill that person. Do you think that's morally the same as someone who kills someone just because they want to?
Yeah.
So you're not taking intent into it at all in that case?
Well, in the outcome, I don't really care about intent. I don't care if you were trying, like...
Well, this is my whole point. How can you say you don't care about intent when the whole reason why you think it's better that someone takes a bribe is because they're being honest? And that has everything to do with intent.
No, it has... Okay, maybe that's why Daniel's... not honesty... Openness? Not openness.
That still has to do with intent.
No, I'm just saying being honest with what you're doing. Like, if you're gonna steal, just steal honestly, I guess.
That has everything to do with intent.
Okay, I guess I can see what you mean.
So stealing honestly is better than stealing dishonestly. So why is killing somebody honestly not different than killing somebody dishonestly?
Okay, I see where I was mistaken with, I was messing up the taking the money. I still think that it's the same as far as intent. That's why whenever you ask me again, I think I switched to the talking about it was just better for money-wise for me.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, morally, I'm thinking as far as... See, no, because... Was I making a moral judgment at the beginning? Now I'm just trying to fight to see if I can figure out a way to weed out of being wrong.
You were just saying I'd rather
Yeah, I'd
have
rather...
them do that because it's honest.
Okay.
It wasn't the part about you rather having them do that, it was the part about it being honest.
I shouldn't have gone into that murder. The murder thing killed me on that argument. Fuck.
Here's my take. I definitely love that you guys can go back and forth on that. Lots of good points and interesting thoughts, but I'm not sure I followed everything perfectly enough to weigh in, very much myself. So I don't know if there's very much I can say. The best thing that I've been trying to say for 10 minutes now is just that I sort of understand what you're saying, Tim. Like, it's nice for them to be able to say, hey, I'm stealing from you. So instead of pretending I'm not stealing from you, I'm just going to steal from you. I can see how that's valuable. I don't know if honesty is the best way to describe it, but I can sort of see some value there. And the thing with the thing with bribing a cop, I mean, if they're willing to give you a discount, that sort of has good intentions, and I can see the value there too. And again, we could talk forever about the difference between intentions and effects or something like that. And
stand by that intention does not influence morality. That I was confused on my point, and that John destroyed my argument. Now I feel like a stupid person.
Well, I would just want to say that I don't think intention is the most important thing. I think it's both.
I'm gonna have an interesting time when I edit, just to see what you guys said again and see if I can wrap my mind around it, because like I said, I don't know if I followed perfectly, but it was definitely back and forth is a great thing to have. So I'm glad you guys fought it out, but we'll see how much sense it actually makes later on. Anyway, well, I guess I did though. This actually still, I guess if we think about this still in terms of this story though, I mean, that was kind of a tangent, but still, kind of relevant still, I guess. But if we think about this in terms of this guy who just took money himself instead of having it sent to the DEA, the thing with me, it's not so much about intentions or honesty or anything like that. It's like, what's most surprising to me about this whole thing is, why did he think he could get away with that? Like, what did he think they were going to think was going to happen to the money? Like, if the DEA doesn't have the money, if this suspicious user doesn't have the money, and if CoinMkt doesn't have the money, what did they think was going to happen? Or what did he think was going to happen? That's the biggest thing for me, is I just don't know why he would even try that in the first place. I mean, because if a cop pulls you over, you give him $100 bill, nobody ever has to know about that. But this just seems, I mean, maybe we're missing some details, because I don't even know why he would try that.
I still think that if you're going to get away with cheating the DEA out of money, doing it with Bitcoin, especially if you're already inside of this whole system where you're going to be using Tor and you could use mixing sites pretty easily, that's going to be the best time to do it. He shouldn't be doing that much, I don't think. Like, if Ulbricht sends you money and you kind of maybe he didn't even tell the DEA what he was doing, but if he sends you money, just send some of it to the DEA and send most of it to yourself, something like that, or send half to them and half to yourself. You don't need to get that greedy that fast, but
yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like,
that was actually only one thing. I don't know how much big of a difference that would make.
I think you're right, and maybe the DEA didn't even know that they were supposed to be getting money, and also it does seem like, at the end it kind of says that he attempted to cover up the actual amount of money seized from CoinMkt in an attempt to launder the digital currency to his own personal accounts. So he did kind of try to, just take part of it and cover things up. And so, anyway, go ahead, Tim.
They made the point that this kind of goes against what I said, but it's still interesting. They said, if Bitcoin made these kind of abuses by DEA agents obvious, how much is going on with cash? And, I mean, it does, I mean, you hear about that, you don't hear about these kind of numbers, where little bits of money goes missing, or little bits of drugs go missing from the DEA and stuff like that. And they're in this thread, I'm not entirely sure how well I agree with it, because if you know really anything about Bitcoin, you should be able to mix it. Hopefully, especially if no one's right on you watching the address right away.
What's the main point again? They think that if this kind of stuff happens with Bitcoin, are they saying it's more likely that it happens with cash?
Yes, because it's not as traceable. They're making the point that because that this is good because this is Bitcoin stopping crime, because they're taking something that's traceable and it's like right in the system, and then
well, Tim, I agree with you in the one sense, because if he was smarter, he wouldn't have gotten caught. But the thing is, he wouldn't have gotten caught, but they would be able to figure out that there was money missing.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with Bitcoin. Like, you could steal stuff and it will be hard to catch you, but people will know that they've gotten stolen from.
You can see kind of corruption popping up.
Yeah, even if you don't know who's behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, as soon as we started talking about this, and even before we decided to do this for the podcast, just when I heard about this the other day, I was like, in some weird, like, perverse sort of way, I love when something like this happens, because it's just a thing how, like, people are like, well, if there was no government, everybody would just do these horrible things all the time. And I'm like, well, you can see how well it's working with government.
Yeah.
You can see how well it works when they come in and try to regulate it. It's obviously so great, and people are obviously not still doing horrible things.
No, I agree with that a lot. I think a lot of people, just through Twitter posts and Facebook posts, I've seen a lot of people kind of glean that exact point from these events. So, I mean, I guess that's a good way to sum it up. I like that. Anything that we need to add before we close?
Nope.
All right. Well, then I guess I'll just remind people to get to Bitcoin Not Bombs, submit a meme, and I guess I don't usually mention this, but I will for fun. Check out our Twitter at @UMeandBTC. And send us a tweet. We love hearing from listeners. If you have something interesting to say, that we could definitely get it on the show. So send us a tweet, follow us.
Tell us whether me or Tim was more idiotic.
Yeah.
Oh, my argument fell apart at the end. But tell us if you'd rather cops that take bribes or ones that hold true to the system.
I'm not saying I wouldn't rather have cops that take bribes. I'm just saying it doesn't make them better people.
No, it doesn't.
Which probably makes me less of a good person as well. Just saying that.
If you can't tell us if you agreed more with John or Tim, just tell us if you even understood what they were saying.
That'd be a good place to start.
Thanks for listening to episode 66. All of the music in today's show was from John Stuart. Remember to check out this week's show notes at umeandbtc.com. We'll see you next Thursday.